Hey, so we're going to take a look at how to do a wrap. So this tends to be one of the things that is the most confusing for kids just because it's something that they're not used to doing. So it's just a matter of trying it. So I made a little chart. I'm cheating in that way. You are welcome to steal my chart. First thing you need to do is identify a choice. So I'm looking through Feel Good Solutions Won't Solve Climate Change. I'm looking for a choice. I could use the word revolution, but I don't like that as well as I could. Could do this little thing of not sustainables off on its own. Yeah, that emphasizes it. I'm not sure I want to do that. I want something that's a little bit cleaner. I would say take the easiest thing you can find because there's no bonus points for degree of difficulty. So this is something, I don't know if this is going to work for me or not. It estimates that the cost is between 0.2% and 2% of global GDP. And I was wondering about that because I'm wondering why they didn't just give a number. Why are they speaking to it in a percent? So I wanted to figure something out. Bear with me a second. So I looked up the global GDP. And the global GDP right now, this is for 2015, is 73.52 trillion. So if I want to figure that out in terms of how much money is he actually talking about, I'm going to do 73,520. And then I need to do, let's see, that's billion. Now I'm in million. Now I'm in hundred thousands. Now I'm in trillions. And so the low end of that is 0.002. And so that would be $147 billion a year. There's a little bit more in there, but let's go with that. So I'm thinking about this, and I think I'm going to make this work. So I'm going to go ahead and take this because it says here that I need to identify a choice. He chooses to use percentages. And I need to quote the exact phrase. So let me do that. I'm just going to take it from there. So, and I'm just going to do, just going to put that up there. And then I've got it to work with. Then I can actually see the whole thing at once. I don't need to worry about that. So the choice he's making. Well, he's choosing to describe the amount that global warming will cost in terms of percentages rather than actual dollars. So what I want to say is, I'm just going to do this over here. Bjorn Lumsborg. See if I spell his name right. Bjorn Lumborg. Bjorn Lumborg, looks like I'm okay. Chooses to describe how much as a percentage of global GDP, global domestic product. Rather than as a whole number, or maybe I'll say a traditional number. So I need to describe the meaning or connotation of that choice. So the connotation of that choice. Well, Let me compare it to the two. So if he had used the actual dollar amount, the cost would be $147.004 billion a year at the low estimate, and do this math. Let me do that real quick. Put my calculator away. Calculator. What did I say? 73.502. So 502. That's billion, million, 100,000. Yep. 100. So there I'm in trillions. 0.02. So that would be $1.4 trillion a year. Go back here. Now I need to explain the connotation of that choice. So when I'm thinking about connotation, I'm just thinking about the difference. So 0.2 versus 147 billion. 147 billion seems like a heck of a lot more. It isn't anymore when you're talking about the global domestic product, but it does have the effect of being way bigger feeling. So that's my connotation, is the $147 billion a year is way bigger sounding than 0.2%. Way bigger and more intimidating than the 0.2% of global domestic product. Actually, I think it's actually not. Yeah, global GDP. Seems way bigger and more intimidating than the 0.2% of global GDP that Lomsberg talks about, even though they are in reality the same number. So that's my connotation or my choice. Connotation of that choice, that this feels bigger. So now I need to explain why the author made that choice. Well, why would the author want to do something that felt smaller? Well, it's more persuasive if you're saying, listen, the cost is not that big. It's not world-ending. That's actually part of the quote. When I hear $1.47 trillion a year, that feels world-ending to me. I don't care what you say. But when you say 2%, suddenly it doesn't feel as world-ending. So I think what he's trying to do is really minimize the effect that I'm feeling. So what he's trying to do is make that number seem smaller, make the effect seem less intense. So what I'm going to say is by choosing to use the percentage of GDP Lumberg is able to downplay the amount of money that global warming is going to cost. This helps him when he says that this is not the end of the world. Because 0.2 or even 2% don't feel like much of anything. I think what I'm going to say, I'm going to go back to this, it helps him, I'm going to say it helps him de-emphasize. Because really what he's trying to do here isn't just to make it seem smaller. He wants to de-emphasize the effect of global warming as a whole. This helps him de-emphasize the effect of global warming. Because a 2% cost, because even a 2% cost doesn't feel that much. Because even a 2% cost doesn't feel that substantial. But when that cost is spelled out in real dollars, when it's spelled out in real dollars, I'm actually going to go back to the impact of global warming seems much more damaging. Okay, and these really aren't exactly the same. Here I'm just saying this feels bigger, this is more intimidating. Here I'm saying that he's downplaying the effects of global warming. He's downplaying the amount of money it's going to cost us. So the intention is to downplay the money and the effect. The way he's doing that is by not making the numbers seem intimidating. So the last piece I want to do here is the effect it has on the reader. And this is really simple because I can think about me. And it's going to be somewhat similar to this, that it helps de-emphasize. You know, for some people, maybe it makes them suspicious. For me, I'm not that smart. So what I'm going to say is, what's the impact it has on me as a reader? Choosing, nope, describing the costs of global warming in terms of percentages. Rather than real dollars. Puts me more at ease. Because the impact doesn't put me more at ease, it puts me more at ease. Makes me more comfortable. Because the impact seems less severe. So really what it does is it puts me at ease. This helps me as a reader see the other problems that Lumberg points out. As larger priorities. Because I'm not as panicked about the effect of climate change. So one thing about these rhetorical analysis paragraphs is they really are about your feelings. This is what he's trying to make me feel. This is how he's making me feel it. And this is what I actually do feel. It puts me at ease. That's really the most critical part here. That it makes me more calm as a reader. It makes me feel like global warming is not a world-ending problem. The rhetoric needs to be a paragraph. This is not a paragraph. It's parts. So let me just put it in a paragraph. So I'm going to start off with what he does. He decides I'm going to use my quote because I need to use that. I'm going to tag that quote. Palmsworth does this by stating, quote, then I'm going to go to the next piece. This is what he's trying to do. I'm going to go to the next piece. That's how he chooses to do it. And the next piece. And what's nice is by chunking it this way, I don't feel super overwhelmed. And I make sure that I get all of my parts. But in the end, I get my paragraph. And it works. So hopefully that helps. Maybe I'll put another video together of another one. That's the whole screen. So you can actually read through that paragraph and you can see where it comes from. But that's it. That's a pretty good way to wrap. Hope it helps.